Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There will be strong language and adult themes.
No, don't start. I'm not ready.
Okay, I gotta get going later.
Well, today is Turtle Adoption Day.
Have you adopted your turtle today?
I have not adopted a turtle, I guess since I've been in high school was the last time I had turtles.
About the same time name for me.
I had one. Let's see, when was that? It was kind of the well, it was right around the Challenger explosion time. 86 was that? We had turtle soup. Is that the same?
No, it's not the
No,
same.
that doesn't count as an adoption.
Okay, fine.
I ended up having to donate my turtle to Mount Moraine, who couldn't take care of him anymore.
We had a little pond in the park, and there were a lot of turtles in there. So actually, I had quite a few that I had actually picked up from the pond in the park, and I kept a wading pool in my backyard that I had had about 8 or 10, little tiny turtles, ones that were like between the size of a quarter and the size of a $50.
Oh, it's a fun size.
Yeah, and that was big enough tank for them then.
Yeah,
There were some huge ones. My brother one time, or my foster brother, brought home a snapping turtle.
Ooh, those are dangerous.
Yeah, that was the more than 2 feet across the shell.
That's smart for kids to do.
Yeah, snapping turtles can take fingers off. I've seen it.
Oh yeah,
more than fingers.
Oh yeah. They
Depends on
can
how big
snap
they are.
down and crush right through the bone.
Whatever they can get their mouth around, they're taken.
Yep.
Well, let's see. We have Orla, Greg Hartwick, and Demon Orb, and some Jenny Burst. I don't know who that is.
Just a nobody.
Yeah. Well, anyway, like I said, I am in the middle of cooking my meal for Thanksgiving tomorrow for bring over to my family, and so I gotta get up and check on that.
Well,
come on, it's just hot dogs. Don't kid us.
See, the Grouchy Fish says, I just sold my stained glass turtle lamp. The woman who showed up to buy it said, I'm here to adopt a turtle.
That's odd.
Yeah. I'm going to wind up doing some serious cooking tomorrow myself, which I hadn't really planned on, but I've got a huge surplus of potatoes I need to use up before they go bad. And I accidentally got a 12-pound turkey.
Well, that's not such a bad size.
Well, they were running some kind of charity raffle thing, so I figured, okay, I'll donate $5 to the charity. And it turns out when they did the raffle, I got a coupon for a free turkey at our grocery store.
Well, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, that's an awful lot of meat for me living alone. So I'm going to have to cook it up and, divide it up into portions so I can freeze most of it.
The food pantry offered me a whole turkey for Thanksgiving. And I didn't have space in my freezer or anything like that for something that big. So I turned it down.
Well, I didn't have space in my freezer either, but I figured frozen turkey would take like 3 days to thaw in the fridge. So I picked it up on Monday, and I've just, had it sitting in the fridge in a plastic bag to let it thaw out. So hopefully it'll be completely thawed so I can cook it tomorrow.
I always thaw them with my oxyacetylene torch.
Yeah, then you get the problem scorching the skin without melting the ice out of the center.
Oh no, you drill holes. You see, you drill holes, and then you put the nozzle of the.
No, see that's
torch,
really
it's like-
dangerous. If you drill holes in an oxyacetylene tank, that's just not good.
No, just listen to me, okay? Jeez, you might learn something here.
Yeah, we can't have that.
You take the turkey, okay? It's frozen, so they're easy to drill. You drill the thing with about I don't know, 9/16 size drill, kind of like, I forget which size. And then you take the nozzle of the one of those propane torches that you click on and it lights up, and you stick that into the hole, and so this hole goes all the way down into the cavity. So when you fire up the torch, it cooks from the inside out. See how that, and it doesn't matter if it's frozen, because it'll just cook its little brains out. You should try sometime.
The head isn't detached, so it has no brains.
Okay, so nobody believes me that that's how I cook my turkey. Huh?
Well,
you just haven't lived long enough, I guess.
Liam says my drill press is only rated for quail, not turkeys.
Oh no! I use a what do they call those drills that pound as they drill?
Oh yeah, the hammer drills.
Yeah, hammer drills. Yeah, that's it. And that gets right through anything. I could drill 100-pound turkey with that thing. And I have drilled 100-pound turkeys.
If it was 100 pounds, I don't think that's a turkey you were working on.
Oh, well, it had a really long neck, and the drumsticks were huge. It was amazing.
And had anyone mentioned anything about a child disappearing in your neighborhood?
Mm-mm.
Well, Ember agrees with you.
Well, Ember's really very smart. Of course she'd agree with me.
Yeah. Orly just says Jenny's been pounding something.
So what else is cool and groovy? Now, if it's Turtle Day, does that mean we have to give special homage to this in this nation because it's Turtle Island?
Yep. The Great Turtle Island.
I thought so. Only fair. We stole it. We got to take care of it.
Ember says it can go straight from freezer to oven as long as there's an airway all the way through the cavity. Okay, yeah, I still have to find the basics, like, what temperature and how long am I supposed to cook it for?
350, about a half hour a pound. So that means for a 20-pound bird, you cook it for like 2 or 3 days at about 500.
Yeah. Well, I got a 12-pound bird, so at half hour per pound, that's about 6 hours.
Yeah, that's way too long. I don't know what the official thing is. I planned on looking it up on recipe.com today sometime. But I think 350 is probably what it is. No, it's not way too long if you like turkey dust.
Well, I was watching a couple of videos on it last night, and I like the ones that take the more scientific approach to, how do you manage to get the dark meat cooked to the proper temperature without drying out the white meat?
Well, you pull the skin back and you rub some butter mixed with various herbs under between the skin and the muscle, and that'll help keep that end of it moisturized. And then you just bake it until the temperature's right.
Yeah, the way my father used to do it.
Hmm? You should cook with a probe if you're going to do turkey.
Yeah, I've got a temperature probe.
And I know you love probing.
Well, when you're an alien from another planet, people just expect you to do it.
Mm-hmm. I know, it's okay. I'm not putting you down. Well, it's kind of weird to have a green guy at the dinner table, though, eating turkey.
The way my father used to do it was to actually lay strips of bacon across the breast while it was cooking.
Ooh, bigness, Ember, bigness. that gets me pretty hot anyway. I just want to be able to cook my baked potatoes at the same time as the turkey, and have their skin comes out really crispy.
Yeah, I've got a mess of russet potatoes, and I was just just thinking that I'd make up a big thing of mashed potatoes with them. But I got so many of them, I can't use them all. So I was thinking that, I'm probably going to bake like a dozen of them and just be able to, seal them up and put them in the freezer that way so I can just take them out for a quick meal. With my late fiance, we used to love doing just the loaded baked potatoes.
Actually, nowadays I mostly do my potatoes in the microwave. Not when I want baked potatoes, but I mean, when you just want regular kitchen, dinner potatoes or something like that.
Yeah, that's how I usually do them when I just want them quick. But I was looking for the best way to, pre-cook them so I could freeze them and then just microwave them when I want one. So I think baking them in the oven and then, sealing them up in plastic. So then I can just take them out when I need them. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to everybody in America. Not those damn Canadians who did it a month early.
Or those Republicans, because they just don't deserve Thanksgiving ever.
Well, to be fair, they're far better at taking than they are at giving, so. Oh, you get back.
I do that. I would do that with lots of things, Jen. One of my favorites is to cook a bunch of pasta and put it in, freezer bags and flatten out and freeze them so you can have quick pasta whenever you want.
Well, I learned a trick from the internet, on how to make quick pasta. You can boil the water ahead of time and pour it into bags and freeze it so it's ready when you want to use it.
Well, that would be a good thing, yeah. Uh-huh. As long as the bags don't leak.
I've got one of those, bag sealers that I really haven't used very much.
Really?
But but I've got
a vacuum sealer.
I haven't used it very much because generally it's like making space on the counter and taking it out is generally not worth it if I'm just going to be doing one or two things. I just use Ziploc bags.
Is it a vacuum sealer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'll use that if I have to have a bunch of stuff to do. like for cutting up the turkey and, like put it in bags of about a pound of meat in each bag. Actually, one of the things I look forward to is having the carcass to make soup.
I always like making turkey tetrazzini on the day after.
Turkey sandwiches are good.
The problem is this time of year, it's really hard to get zinis, much less 4 of them.
Yeah. Oh, and of course, I have a certain kitty who is obnoxious anytime I try to actually cook.
I was wondering if I could get one of those vacuum bags big enough to fit me in there, and then do the vacuum thing, and I, put me in the freezer, and I could come back in like 100 years, and they could thaw me out. Wouldn't that work out?
Okay. Yes, they do make bags big enough. I actually have seen them vacuum press a human.
Is that like latex?
Yep.
Okay, all right, I get it.
It was a fetish thing to immobilize them.
Mm-hmm. I've seen also, and here we are suddenly talking about fetishes again, where people get completely wrapped with duct tape.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, holy fuck, this is very odd. And how can you trust somebody to do that with you?
Well, it's, if you're going to do any kind of fetish stuff, you have to have somebody that you can trust explicitly. It's not something that you can do casually, and definitely not on a first date. Which is why I've in my life only met one person that I was comfortable doing anything that would immobilize me.
Yeah, no, that would just be too freaky. I couldn't do that. And it's weird to look at. I couldn't even be in the room with somebody doing that. That's just it's just too odd. But I suppose you could like you can get colored duct tape, so like you could do it like seasonally, like red and green in December, brown and yellow in the fall, and pink and blue in Easter or any other time you're getting kinky, and it could be a good thing, I guess.
Oh yeah, I know you can get the duct tape in at least a dozen different colors. I have a couple of rolls of purple and one roll of orange on hand.
We used to buy colored duct tape to tape our race car back together.
Mm-hmm.
If we got caught in a scuffle on the track, it worked out really well.
Well, actually, my last my hatchback I had was black, and the rear bumper was just like completely falling apart. So I just I used a couple of mending plates to put a couple screws in and hold it back together, and then I just wrapped the whole thing up in black duct tape. And the color was the same as the color of the car. So I drove it around that way for another 5 years, and nobody ever noticed it, even when police pulled me over.
I like Gorilla Tape for duct tape. It's black and it's absolutely the best sticking stuff you'll ever find.
But I've never tried to tape a gorilla. I thought you had to use glue for them.
No, I really like Gorilla Tape. I even dream about it at night. Gorilla my dreams, Sorry. Red Green was a duct tape hack, okay? Red Green didn't know nothing about duct tape. Everything he made was failed.
Okay, Ember is reminding us that kink please fetish is something else. And yeah, while they're Well, the two go together. They are actually separate things.
One of these things is not like the other.
Yeah, red green, the stuff never held together long enough. So I remember when MythBusters did their show on if you were stranded on a deserted island with nothing but a case of duct tape, could you get off? And they actually made a sailboat completely out of duct tape. And it actually did hold together in the water for a while.
I've always wanted to get into one of those cardboard canoe competition things, or
Yes.
or the milk jug, or the milk.
Yeah, the milk carton boat race in the Aquatennial.
Yeah.
I've designed boats for doing that, but I never got to build one.
I don't like the idea of those other races that some people do, where they just build a stupid go-kart that runs some course downhill and obstacles, and man, I've never seen one of those where people don't come out bleeding.
I've kind of liked the idea of doing one of those too. They're basically the newer version of the old soapbox racers.
No, soapbox racers are built much better.
Yeah.
And much safer. No, these are those contests where they'll take a bed frame and put wheels on it, and you're going to go down the hill in a bed frame.
Yeah.
Just all that wacky stuff.
Yeah. A lot of them, they do their designs just for the look without any thought about whether or not it's going to be functional, or whether or not the wheels they're using are going to actually make it down a hill on a street without self-destructing.
Yeah, bearings and things like that matter, and most amateurs haven't got a clue. It's like on the little Pinewood derbies things.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best things you can do is to dress your axles, so the wheels spin on the axles better.
Yeah, I learned that too late after I was out of Boy Scouts. That if you rub the axle pins with graphite,
and always build an alignment rack for one of those, so when you assemble it, it's nice and true. That makes a huge difference too.
Yeah.
I help my nephew build a couple of soapboxes or Pinewoods.
Yeah, see, I never had anyone to help me build one. I was always just left on my own. I mean, which really sucked, because like my dad was a carpenter. All the tools were there, but nobody would teach me how to use them.
Oh, that's really sucky.
Yeah, so it's like I wound up pretty much everything I know was pretty much self-taught or from books. And I wound up, making my career of it.
My grandfather and my dad were both carpenters, but I didn't really pick up on it, unfortunately. I still have all his tools, though.
My dad was the kind of woodworker who would buy a radial arm saw and then use it twice for the next 10 years.
Well, my meal's turning out pretty good. I just had the spices.
That's good.
What spices?
Curry, chili, turmeric.
No. It's Thanksgiving. You're not allowed to use curry.
Coriander, paprika, garlic, white pepper, mustard.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is just not acceptable. You got the wrong holiday, Buster.
Well, Mages in the Sun Belt, I'm sure that it's different down there.
Well, okay, I suppose. Brain damage and all.
Well, it was supposed to be more of a slices of potato, and it's turned more into a mashed potato, but oh well.
Mm-hmm.
Overcooked it a little bit.
Have you ever had Hasselbeck potatoes?
That's what?
Hasselbeck, a way of preparing them?
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is.
It's really neat. You take a big ass russet, okay, and I like to trim the bottom, very thin trim to make it flat, so you can put it on the counter and work with it without hurting yourself. Then you take a couple of dowels, maybe a 1/4 inch thick, something like that. You could use pencils, I suppose, easy enough. And you put those on either side of the thing, so it limits how far down your knife can go when you cut the slices. And you cut slices that are maybe 1/8 of an inch thick, and you just do the whole potato like that. Then you spread them out and put butter and stuff in them, and then bake them.
Sounds good.
They're really, really good. And you can you can do whatever you want for butter or whatever. I wouldn't put sour cream in to bake them, but afterwards you can put sour cream on them.
I have some metal skewers that would work really well for something like that too. I'm gonna have to try that.
Skewers?
Yeah, some metal, like shish kebab.
Yeah, I know what skewers are. No, the idea of a Hasselbeck is to have this potato fan out.
Yeah, no, I mean for cutting it, I can put the skewer through and then use that.
Oh, that might be no. You don't want it through it. You want it to the sides of it. One away from you on the far side, away from you, one on the close side, so that when you bring the knife down, it hits whatever you got down there, and that's where it stops.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But skewers are too thin. That's like 1/8 of an inch. Because, just trust me. Try it sometime. You'll see.
Okay. The only reason I am down on Canadians is you still have not made any moves to annex Minnesota. Just do me a solid. Make it so we're no longer part of this country.
Stool's here?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Stool. Yeah, Stool is commenting on Major seasoning.
Stool, you don't like coriander? Do you like cilantro? They're the same thing.
Though you don't get the soapy taste from coriander.
No.
I have that problem with cilantro. To me, the cilantro makes the stuff taste. That sloth girl used to always like to get the cilantro rice from Chipotle, and to me, it always tasted like there was like a residue of dish soap on it.
Yeah, the coriander is the ground up seeds of the plant, and it doesn't have the same chemical.
Coriander is popular around this part of the country with all the Norwegians. They like that stuff for some reason.
Well, it was mostly focusing around the moringa I had growing in my backyard.
A moringa? What's a moringa?
It's a tree.
Okay. And why would you want one of those growing?
Because they're a really good source of vitamins.
You eat the tree?
Yeah, you eat the leaves. You can eat the. Well, actually, yeah. I suppose you could actually eat the early bark too, possibly. I did chew on a piece once, and it almost tasted like a sugar cane.
Yeah, it's deer get through the winter largely by peeling the bark off of trees,
but
especially the birch trees because they peel so easily.
But the moringa has been known to be planted in places where food scarcity is to help with people with vitamin deficiencies. It's high in iron, and you do have to be a bit careful if you have blood thinners or something, or if low blood diabetics need to be careful with it because it can lower blood sugar. It's also good for lowering cholesterol, so.
I suppose I know that like that the xylitol sweetener was originally made from birch tree bark. So I suppose,
aspirin is what comes from birch trees bark.
yep, aspirin also.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, I was agreeing with you. I was saying you were right. Quit fighting me.
Aspirin?
I'm not right. I'm left. Damn it.
Isn't that from a fungus that usually grow in the white willow tree?
Yeah, I think aspirin was originally from the willow trees rather than the birch
Why would they
trees.
call it a white willow when it's green?
I don't know.
Maybe it was winter.
Yeah, well, see, this is what happens when you put Republicans in charge.
I don't think it has anything to do with it.
Oh, I do.
No,
Anything
everything
that
does
goes
for
wrong, it's the fault of a Republican.
you.
Yeah. I don't know. There's already a lot of infighting going on, so hopefully that will keep them from getting anything serious accomplished.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are still talking like you think that there's going to be a Democratic government after this. Oh, you kids are so cute.
No, I don't believe there will be, but, I'm hoping that something will get them followed up enough that something will happen. Although at this point, I think a military coup is probably a better bet. But I'd rather not get too much into the politics today.
Yeah, you got
Let's just keep talking about
get together
food.
with your families and do that.
Yeah. Well, hey, like I said, I've got a lot of extra potatoes to use up. And, I know that was one of the streams that we best stayed on topic for was Potato Day.
Yep, that's part of the thing I was making was a potato.
Yep.
Yukon Gold specifically.
Yeah, actually, I've
What?
got both russets and red potatoes.
So why wouldn't snapping turtle be our like Thanksgiving meal?
Why would it?
Well, why not?
I don't know.
Well, I don't think there's a lot of snapping turtles in the New England states.
Oh, really? There's water. There's snappers.
Well, not in ocean water, only in fresh water.
Well, that's where the people live is on the land where the fresh water is.
The people live on the land? That's
Mine
weird.
do. I realize that you guys are like fish and things, but my family are all rodents, so we're on the land.
No, I guess Stool hasn't gotten to you yet with his plan to turn everybody into mermaids.
Oh no, don't do that. I like having legs. I've got really good-looking legs, and I'd hate to have them covered in scales and things. They're already covered in cellulite, so.
I have never eaten turtles. I just like the animals too much to eat them.
I don't think I've ever eaten turtle myself either.
Harvey, what is Julian frying?
Apparently, Julian is frying raccoons.
Okay. I imagine raccoons can be tasty.
Yeah, it's another one I haven't. Well, actually, I'm sure I have had them at some point, but I've no idea. Can't remember what they specifically were like.
Well, looking up is what turtle meat would taste like. It looks like nobody can really agree on what the flavor is.
Well, Grouchy Fish says it tastes like fishy chicken.
Let's see, we got flavored meat such as goat, chicken, and fish, shrimp, beef, pork, and goat again, for some reason, in this thing. That's what it's been compared to, so who knows? Guess you have to eat it and see what it tastes like for you.
By the way, guys, I'm naked right now.
Well, that was too much information.
Well, no, that went along with our earlier topic that we were talking about kink stuff. So
Yeah.
How about turtle kink? Do we have any turtle kink that we could talk about? You know, those ninja guys. I figure we're into some weird shit.
Well, there was a female one in one of the later live action series.
There, see, I told you.
when I was like a preteen, I kept turtles. And I just it was my special interest at the time that I just learned everything about the turtles. And my sister gave me a can of turtle soup as a present. And she didn't understand why I found that upsetting.
Why would you find that upsetting?
Well, like if you love your dog and somebody gives you a jar of dog meat, that wouldn't bother you?
No, it's not my dog. It's a piece of food.
Hmm.
Oh, Julianne's a woman. I see. So what is Julianne frying? That's an interesting question, Ember. Can turtles be trans?
Yeah.
They had that world's oldest tortoise on TV last night. 162 years old.
I suppose it's a matter of whether the turtle has is the right sense of self.
Yeah, at the Como Zoo, there is a statue of the tortoise they had there, who died at the age of 150 something.
Sadly, the one that they showed last night is on Galapagos, and when he dies, that's the end of the species.
Yep, Lonesome George.
Yeah.
And they have been trying to figure out which other species is the most closely related, with the hopes that maybe he could produce offspring, with a female of a closely enough related species.
What if you had the job of jacking off a turtle for a sperm sample?
Well, first you got to find it.
Well, it's down there. They're always down there.
Well, turtles actually have fairly large.
I would think they'd have to get around the shell, and I would think that, the species of turtle, the higher the dome of the shell, the larger it would need to be to accomplish the job.
And the end is flat.
Yeah, Ember, I don't know if you had ever seen it, but back in the 80s, actually before the Ninja Turtles even got on TV, there was a short run in the comic books of the geriatric ninjutsu gerbils. Geriatric ninjutsu gerbils, that's what it was. So that was another little offspring from that.
All right, I got a question that kind of moves right along with the discussion that we're having. When you get out of the shower or you get up out of bed and you're going to get dressed, what do you put on first?
When I get out of bed, I put on my nightgown.
Well, whatever. When you get dressed, what's the first thing you put on?
My nightgown's not the answer to that?
No, we're talking about going out on the street, going shopping, whatever the fuck you're going to do. We're not talking about PJs. We're talking about clothes.
Oh. Going outside, though, do you really want to do that? I guess
No.
when I have to go outside, I'm usually putting on, my dress or the top first.
Mark's has got a good one there. Perfume. That would be a good thing to do first, and you don't stain your clothes. Boots.
Oh.
Boots before corset.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I want to see that.
Actually, I was actually only thinking about clothing, but yeah, actually, first I do my hair and then I do my makeup before I get the clothing. Just like you say, just so I don't accidentally get my makeup on whatever top I'm wearing. I'm still not real good with makeup, so I think I got too much of a chance of, getting a smear of it on whatever shirt or dress I'd be wearing.
Oh,
That
and
makeup sucks. Just don't wear any of that crap.
just looking this thing up on the whole tortoise thing, well, it looks like tortoises cannot recognize themselves in mirrors, so they probably don't have the sense of self enough to be trans.
I know that they
So that
have.
turtle I saw wearing a bra, it wasn't trans. Is that what you're telling me?
Nope, somebody just put that on there.
I know they have observed some of the tortoises on the Galapagos actually humping boulders.
Thereby
So-
proving that turtles aren't particularly bright.
Yeah, either that or they just, don't have a real good way of telling what's actually a female.
Well, that's why the one had the bra.
Yes, Ember is correct. I have seen people in Walmart in pajamas or even just a bathrobe.
Yeah, but that's Walmart. It's a special place. Walmart.
Hey, Commander. Tori's on her way home from Walmart now. No, I actually do put my shirt or my dress on before I put my underwear on.
What?
Well, if I'm getting out of the shower, I'm going to be kind of chilly. So I put on the thing that covers the largest percentage of my body, so I don't get too cold while I'm getting the rest of the stuff.
I usually start with the boxers, seeing it's a little bit difficult to put the boxers on after I get my pants on.
Yeah, well, with pants, you have that problem. With a dress or a skirt, that's not an issue to, pull up the underwear without getting it in the dress or skirt. Okay, what's the deal with the PS5 Pro? Is that like the hot gift item this holiday season?
You better buy it now before the tariffs hit.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, he has at least gone back from the 200% tariff to only a 25% tariff.
For Canada and Mexico, China, which is where we get most stuff, is 35%.
Yeah. Well, and the part that he doesn't understand is how many things that even are, say they're made in the USA, use components from China. And of course, how the companies are going to jack up their own prices.
Yep. Hey, prices are going up. Let's use this as an excuse to jack up prices and make more profit.
Well, see, that's what the companies get to do, is they get to mark up the price to their distributor, to their distributor or franchise or whatever. But then
Mhm.
the franchise or whatever gets to raise it too, because what do consumers know? We'll just fuck
Yeah.
them good.
I'm,
Yeah,
I'm already seeing some prices go up from just the threat of this in
Yep.
the grocery store.
Procter & Gamble hiked the price of their disposable diapers by 6%, while at the same time announcing to their shareholders that they had reduced the production cost. So they actually cost them less to make, but they raised the price to consumers anyway, just so that they could give a larger dividend to their shareholders.
Well, that sounds like corporate America.
Yep. Yeah, I don't quite get why anybody buys a gaming console anymore.
Oh,
You know, what advantage does a gaming console have over having a desktop computer?
Oh, more variety.
Nope.
Well, through services like Steam, it's like almost every game you can get for a console you can play on your computer now.
Most of them require online and services, all that anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. That doesn't seem right to me.
I don't know. I don't play any of the popular games, any of the online shooter games or anything, so I don't know anything about it. I only play the turn-based games where I can actually take my time to think through my strategy.
Mm.
Von, why do you feel the need to put down all these clowns? Huh? Trump's barely a zoo animal.
North American cheetah-faced shit gibbon.
Yeah. Actually, disposable diapers are another product that the inventor came to regret. The idea was that they were going to be something, to help people out when they were traveling. He never expected anybody would start using them every day at home. And he went on to tout the advantages of cloth diapers.
My parents always use cloth diapers.
My recommendation is don't have kids.
Yeah, I was out of diapers before disposable diapers really became a thing.
The only thing worse than having to change kids' diapers are cats.
Yeah, it's hard changing a cat's diaper.
Oh, a chicken diaper.
I've seen them.
Yeah, they do exist.
Yep.
Chickens will just poop wherever. So if you have them indoors,
I did use disposable diapers with the youngest two I was taking care of, but that was their mom's decision. So, and this was back before they had those changing tables in the men's restrooms. So, I had to try to change a diaper by balancing the baby on the sink. And somehow I managed that without any real injuries.
Do they really have those in men's rooms?
changing.
They do now. They
Yeah,
didn't in the 80s.
Yeah, they're in there.
Or they didn't in the 90s, rather.
I've never seen one, so I
Yep.
don't know.
Okay, Orla says the only advantage the consoles have is slightly better graphics, which most TVs won't show anyway. Now, I've also been wondering about, all the things they're saying about the new TVs and the 4K and everything, and at what point are we going to be reaching TVs that actually have, a greater resolution than the human eye is able to differentiate?
I'd be surprised if we're already there.
I was kind of thinking, with the 4K flat screens, whether or not that has already passed that.
Well, there's 8K now.
Hey, Wanderer. I grew up with the massive CRT TVs that were 2 feet deep. So just any flat screen compared to those.
I still have my large brick out in the living room. Well, so I think it's a 32-inch, one of the square ones still.
Yep.
I do plan to eventually replace it.
Yeah, when I moved in with my ex, I had like a 27 or a 30-inch TV, and that was 2008, and that was like twice as big as any TV she had ever had.
Well, must have been nice to see after being stuck to really small ones.
Yeah. Yeah, and now I've got a 50-inch monitor for my computer, which basically I never watch TV, so all I use it for is as a computer monitor. Or rather, any TV I do watch, I wind up watching it through the computer anyway, so. And thanks again for Mage for giving me a good website that had a lot of the old cartoons I remembered. So was able to watch a lot of the cartoons, from the 80s through the 2000s. Yeah, I'm with you, Commander. I'm less interested with the artwork than making sure that, just that they're more playable, that the action moves smoother.
Well, I want 16K, and I want it to be a 200-inch TV screen.
I've been watching how the prices have been dropping. And now there's like 65-inch TVs are down to like $400.
Yeah, I saw a 42-inch for 169.
Yeah,
Yep.
sounds about right. So I think it's a 32-inch for about 110.
Oh, you can get 32-inch ones for around $100 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
That's what I'll probably get for the living room since I have limited space.
But that's not a smart TV, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, with the built-in Roku and stuff like that.
Now, what is Roku? I don't get that.
It's a streaming device. So basically, has these built-in apps so you can watch different shows and stuff, and you get pay apps so you can get your Netflix and all that through it. It runs
But you don't
all
have to
through.
pay for Roku?
No, it's all the Roku's. You buy the device or you buy the TV that has the Roku in it, and that's free. You sign up. You do sign up for their service, the website, so you can get their services and all that. And I think they do require that you put in a credit card or something into their system and for when you're initially starting it up. But don't worry about it. I've never used the damn thing myself. So, in fact, I think the one they have on file is one that's long outdated. It hasn't mattered.
Yeah, Slothgirl used the Roku.
Yeah, and then it connects to your Wi-Fi, and you just watch whatever you want.
Yeah, because the Roku did have a bunch of free channels.
Yeah, it does has some good free channels. You gotta say. Then you also have the option of getting a USB drive and plugging into the back of the TV and watching stuff off of that.
Yep.
It's usually what I do.
I've done some of that. Mostly it was like, saving stuff I found on the computer to a USB stick and taking it upstairs to watch it on her TV.
Yeah, stuff like that's basically it. Oh, and recently I came across the Unwanted Undead Adventurer. It's another anime I've been wanting to see. I finally found a dub of it.
Okay, cool.
So I haven't seen that one yet, but basically, as the name implies, it's a adventurer who's basically unwanted by his team. He goes off in a dungeon solo and gets eaten by a dragon.
Ember, you know what DPI stands for in Mega language? Dopes per inch. That's the way they count rallies.
Well, Mage, it would be cool if you saved that one.
Oh yeah,
So
I'm saving that
we
one.
can watch one with you that you haven't seen before either.
Oh no, I like to watch through them, make sure I have good copies, but
Okay.
sometimes I run into problems. He ends up waking up and he's an undead skeleton in the dungeon, and for some reason he still has his consciousness though.
Probably had some kind of magic spell from Saga.
So, when I was running Tunnels and Trolls campaign, Slothgirl's character was the skeleton of an undead pixie.
Interesting choice.
Yeah, we were playing around with different character races and things, adding our own to the rules.
Oof,
you know what happens when you throw a sprite against the wall?
When you throw
Sprays,
what?
When you throw a sprite against the wall.
Sprays everywhere.
Pixie sticks.
Okay.
Okay. I guess nobody gets the reference anymore.
I got it.
I don't get it at all.
I got it. Pixie
yeah, it wasn't worth it.
It's a candy.
Yep.
And sticks. Throws.
I think I have found my audience. There is a channel called Refashioned Hippie. And I have commented on a couple of her shorts with some old sloth girl jokes and puns. And not saying everybody liked them, but I've been getting a lot of reactions for them. So it's kind of like, yeah, I think I found the right room for these.
Well, you can try to Reddit, and there's probably places on Reddit where they like that stuff.
I'm gonna go check my food here.
Yep. Grouchy's got it right. Technology keeps going down in price, but the necessities of life, like food, keep going up. Excuse me. Yeah.
Oh, I get it. A sprite is another word for a pixie, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Now it makes sense.
Okay. Okay, that's the connection you weren't making. I get you.
Well, I can thank Grouchy for that.
Yep.
See, you guys may think that I'm like a genius, but I'm not.
Well, you're not as well versed in some subjects as you are in others.
That's for damn sure.
I mean, if we got talking about, cars and engines, you quickly lose the both of us. So it's just a matter of what your areas of interest have been, what things you have bothered to study. I've studied more on mythology and mythological creatures.
Well, I'm giving up on politics. I apparently know not a damn thing. I've called Trump the loser twice.
Yeah, well,
three times, I should say. It's only
unfortunately,
one out of three. So
our politics has gotten extremely warped now. It's just not the same as it was 25 years ago.
hey, and you guys, I'm gonna mention this again, you guys out in the chat, because we really, really fucking need your help. Please, please, write your Congress people, call them on the phone, give them your opinion, to tell them to go push this Nancy Mace trans hate bill up their fucking asses, because it's going to be the first step for them to eliminate us from the face of the earth.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not in a democracy anymore. And if you guys don't do this, I'm toast. And a whole bunch of other people I know, and a whole bunch of people in this chat right now will be toast.
Well, and I've seen some things about, well, shouldn't we just let it go with the trans people and, kind of let them have that and compromise on something more important? And it's like, no.
Because we're talking about lives here.
Yeah, well, and once they eliminate one marginalized group, they're just going to go up the ladder to the next minority group and the next one and the next one.
Yeah, they're coming after us first because we're the smallest. We're the easiest to hate. Okay, and that's why they're coming after us. But whoever you are out there, you're going to be next. If you're a disabled person, you're on their list. You need to know that. They do not like disabled people at all.
Yeah, and who is the guy that was picked for the new Secretary of Health, who has said that he wants to refocus and instead of spending on studying communicable diseases and vaccines, that he thinks that they should just be working on studying chronic conditions.
Yeah.
Which basically means that, we don't care about being prepared if there happens to be another epidemic or pandemic, because it'll just take out the, the old and the weak. And
Yep.
Yep.
That's what Republicans said at the beginning of COVID, and they were serious.
Yeah. So they're just hoping that they can get all the elderly to die off, so that then they can cancel Social Security without so much hassle.
And write this Nancy Mace too. You can write her on Twitter, @ rep REP Nancy Mace, and you can send something directly to her little fucking Twitter account and tell her to go fuck off. Just don't threaten them, because you'll get your ass busted for that.
Ember says there's a planned resistant action of everyone being asked to release a video or publish an article or whatever to do on the same day with the same title. But she can't remember what the title is offhand. So if somebody else has information on that, let us know.
You mean we're supposed to create an original document, or there's something that we're all going to paste?
No, I think it's, that each person is going to do like their own short video of that, but, all tied together on the same subject.
Sounds interesting. So you even get the name for that.
Yeah. Yeah, Ember says it's linked on the transposition servers, but since she's driving right now, she can't access it.
Okay.
Oh, come on. You can drive with your knees. Jeez. These people.
Well, it becomes difficult for trans women because, we had grown up having an extra appendage to grip the steering wheel with.
You can do that?
If you're talented.
I'd say. I mean, I couldn't. Well, of course, mine was only an inch long, so. Hey, guess what I'm doing? that I haven't done in decades.
Well, I heard a zipper, but you said you were naked to start with, so you must be getting dressed.
I'm getting dressed. I'm wearing pants. Don't tell anyone.
Ooh.
Yeah, I still wear jeans when I'm working, or some days I just don't feel like putting myself together properly, so I just go out in grunge mode. That's when I most confuse people of not knowing whether I'm male or female, because it's like it's not so obvious, and I wind up looking pretty androgynous.
I'm gonna go look for that thing of embers and post it. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I was trying to find. I didn't see anything on. So. I think I'm not entirely certain what I'm looking for. So.
Ember, which room in the transposition Discord would that be in? I got up early. I'm still kind of slug brain here.
I was hoping to be done with the thing I was cooking by now, but unfortunately I forgot to clean the crock pot, so that took some time.
Oh, yeah. I've done that before. Thinking I was going to get a dinner started in the crock pot and realizing I hadn't cleaned it since the last one I did. Actually, just last night, I was just finishing up the last of a beef roast I did in the crock pot over the weekend.
First time I tried this, I did it as more of a stir fry, and that turned out pretty good. But I wanted to do it in the crock pot. It'll be easier to transport, and I don't have to focus so much time on sitting there and cooking it.
Yep.
Especially since I'm making a large portion for probably 20 people here.
Okay, so it's in the transposition with a thumbnail of a pride flag. I'm sure that narrows things down quite a bit, huh?
Oh, yeah.
But he said that Stephanie Helms posted it first.
Okay, so looking for something that Stephanie posted.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm actually one of the things I'm looking forward to is having the carcass from the turkey after I take all the meat off. And just simmering that in the crock pot to get a good soup going.
I usually like to make a soup or stew in the crock pot.
Grouchy Fish says I'm straight, but accept people for whoever they are. Not sure how this chat was recommended to me. Well, glad you're here. So you're straight, but not narrow. Hey, Beck. If you want to join in, I left you a link on Twitter. Oh, yeah, but I figure that along with the other leftovers, then I'll wind up doing the crock pot full of some kind of a turkey rice soup. So I'll wind up probably having 4 or 5 quarts of that.
Okay, is that it?
Switch hitter.
So I see has a pride flag and is posted by Stephanie in there.
I can't find it.
Well, the title there sounds right. Planned action for LGBTQ plus and allies in response to Democrats capitulating on trans rights.
Yeah, but where'd you find that?
It was in the general chat in the transpositions Discord.
Oh, in the Discord. Oh, well, okay. I should be able to find it then.
I think this is it. Let's find out if I got the right thing here.
Hey, Sumami.
the switch header planned action for LGBTQ plus and allies in response to Democrats capitulating on trans rights.
Why don't you read it to us?
Yeah, so long. It's kind of a
Well, just encapsulate it. Date, what's the action, that kind of stuff.
let's see here. It's, proposed action. I am but one person, cannot speak for our entire community. But here's what I propose. In the spirit of queer nation, who in the 1990s carried out a myriad protests under the same banner, but with no singular leader or directive. I propose that on Tuesday, December excuse me, December 3rd, 2024, the first day that both the House and the Senate are back in session, and all of us who are invested in the issue who have a platform, whether it be a blog, newsletter, column, yada yada yada, publish a piece with this must be the shared title LGBTQ plus people are not going back. Yes, I know it's a cheesy title, but it holds Democrats as accountable to their own talking points, and makes it clear that backsliding on LGBTQ plus rights is non-negotiable for us. What you write or say or express this in your op-ed article or video or podcast, etc., is up to you. I encourage you to make it personal. Feel free to tailor it to your audience. My own request, other than in all of us using the same title, is that you implore people to contact their congressman or senators and perhaps even in local politicians and tell them that one, you will not tolerate any backpedaling on LGBTQ plus rights whatsoever, and two, if they feel to strongly stand up against these attacks on LGBTQ plus rights, and then you will take your vote elsewhere next election. Well, it's not much of a threat for me in May because there's the people that getting elected in my district aren't getting my vote anyway.
Yeah, but what are we supposed to do and what day?
I read that.
It said December 3rd.
Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024, where you post a video or something on whatever social media platform you have titled LGBTQ plus people are not going back.
Oh,
You're
okay. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, so do a video or a blog or whatever you do.
Here, I'll put the link to the thing in the chat here. And I will put in the private chat.
Oh, Julie Serrano is sponsoring this. Okay, that's all you had to say.
Well, I didn't read the who wrote this.
Well, that's what the link says. Julie Serrano Substack.
Okay, who's Julie Serrano?
She's an author. She's written a number of things on trans issues and stuff. She was one of the early writers.
Okay.
She's very smart and she's very out there in front. You know, she'll talk to you on Twitter and stuff. You know, just a regular person, and she knows what she's talking about.
Okay.
And gets into a little bit more detail and some other stuff here, so you can read the rest of it through yourselves.
In fact, if you go to Julie Serrano's websites and stuff, you might be able to find her glossary. And if you have any hesitation in certain words that you don't really understand what they are, the glossary is extensive as fuck. I mean,
okay, I need that.
Okay, good to know.
I need that because I keep running into terms in the community that I don't understand, and I want to make sure I'm using them right.
Well, a lot of things are new, and so you're not going to see them in her stuff necessarily. So jump onto Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, that's what I've been
Also,
using most of the time
yeah.
is Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, it's also very helpful. Okay, I put in my call to my food pantry friend. She's going to be here shortly.
Yeah, I had saw that we went over an hour and figured you'd be having to
Yeah.
pop out soon to go and get your food.
She lives at the far other end of town, so like it'll take her.
So almost a mile away.
Yeah, almost a mile at 30 miles an hour. That's about how long it'll take to get here. 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Of course, we had a traffic jam here. There were like 10 cars at the main intersection between Highway 76 and Highway 16.
10 whole cars, you say?
Yeah, it took like forever to get these things to the damn 2 stop signs.
Yeah, where I lived in Michigan.
Okay, who's gonna go next? Just fucking go. Oh well.
Where I lived in Michigan, rush hour was when the bars closed and all the guys who had their license revoked were driving their tractors and ATVs home. Actually, speaking of that reminds me of a thought I was having driving home last night. And I think I found an analogy that cis people might be able to relate to that could give them a bit of an idea of like what having a little euphoric experience is. And, just like being recognized as, as the correct gender gives trans people an experience kind of like when you're driving home from work and going through downtown, every light you hit is green.
Not sure if I ever got a euphoric feeling from that, but okay.
Well, it's just kind of one of those things that for at least for a few minutes of your day that everything is going just right for you.
Okay, that's understandable.
Oh, well, glad you're feeling better. Glad you're feeling better, Sumami. Well, I think most of us have at some point woken up with a cat lying over our face. Excuse me.
Yeah. How about comparing it to, say, finding $100 laying on the ground?
Yeah, it's I mean it's kind of a similar thing, but I guess it's kind of like there's a bit more of a meta level to it.
Okay.
Oh well, I was trying to find something that I thought cis people could relate to. Maybe I missed the mark.
Not entirely.
Yeah, well, yeah, I remember saying it's like comparing a bite of chocolate to a hit of cocaine. I've never had cocaine, so I can't speak to that. Yeah, I really haven't experimented with drugs other than prescriptions, so I mean the worst illegal drug I ever had was, just weed. Now some of the prescription drugs have been fun if you do them in the right combinations. Oh wait, no. I'll correct that. One that was not actually illegal, but what I really tripped on was salvia. Smoking salvia, I had a very surreal hallucinogenic trip. For some reason, I became convinced that I was living in a 2-dimensional universe, and if somebody turned the page, I was going to slide off the edge of the universe.
Okay.
So I was gripping onto the supporting pillar between our living room and bedroom there, and my late fiance, who was literally twice my size, said after that she was not worried about me walking around at night anymore because she had a hell of a time trying to get me onto the bed so I wouldn't hurt myself.
Never tried anything like that myself.
Oh, come on. There we go. Okay, Ember's saying it's more like traditional euphoria, asking someone to marry you, and that moment when they say yes, getting a call that you've won a scholarship you were after, and did you get the degree?
Okay.
You wake up and realize that today is the first day of the month's paid vacation, and there's fresh coffee. Yeah, Tsunami, we're trying to come up with experiences that cis people could relate to that would feel similar to the gender euphoria of being recognized as our correct gender.
So from those descriptions, I'd say maybe how it feels like being a kid on Christmas when you first walk in and see the tree with all the presents.
Yeah. It's like holding your newborn baby in your arms and it hits you. This is your life now. Yeah, I had that experience even though it wasn't actually my baby. But I got to hold G in the hospital when she was only 6 hours old.
That hit of dopamine there, huh?
Yeah. Well, the fact that I was there and her father wasn't should tell you something.
I'm still here listening, by the way.
Okay.
Okay, so mommy's asking if it feels like getting approved for a home loan by Wells Fargo as a POC. Yeah, I think that's probably in the right area. You know, just something like that, but just for a few moments, it seems like everything in the world is going right for you.
Oh, we can put a stop to that.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. It rarely lasts more than a few moments, but...
Well, you know, the Republicans are working on that diligently.
Yeah. Okay, and the whole stereotype about trans women, you know, loving and craving pickles. I just want to say that I bought that gallon jar of pickles before I really started on HRT.
I thought that was a pregnant woman thing, stereotype.
No, it's a spironolactone thing. You need the salt because of the concentrated dynamics of spironolactone.
Yeah, the spirulactone is a testosterone suppressant, testosterone blocker, and yeah, for some reason it leaves women just craving salt a lot, and pickles
it's diuretic.
Are a way to get it.
It's a diuretic that has a side effect.
Okay, it's used as a diuretic. I wasn't actually aware of that.
So, what, you want to get a salt lick?
Well, like I say, I've always been like that for years. I've joked about sitting here at times feeling like I just want to eat a 10-pound salt lick.
Well, you're like 6'10", 100 pounds, so
I'm not that tall.
All right, 6'8".
Hey, that's one of the things I like about going shopping with Molly. You know, she's like more than half a head taller than I am, so I actually look small next to her.
Huh. Well, maybe my friend Mary is walking here. I'm going to take me to the pantry on her back.
Okay, Tubian says, since I'm cis, I can never know that euphoria, but I've heard it explained to cis people as when you look in the mirror and think you look great. Yeah, it goes a lot further than that. Yes, and Blahas. But
I've always kind of thought one way it feels a lot like when you win an award of some kind in public. You know, people know that you win this, and everybody's kind of giving you an away kind of thing, and just how good you feel when that happens.
yeah, that's a good one. That you're presented with an award at some public ceremony.
Oh, my ride's here.
Okay. There you go. Instead of Blaha, I have a purple shark. Sloth Girl found me a purple one.
Like, always have your soul put into it, like in the Dead Mount Death play.
And yes, I'm.
That's really loud, Jenny.
Jenny?
Jenny? I think we should mute her.
Yeah.
That sounds like personal conversation stuff.
Yeah, maybe she's not aware that she didn't disconnect from us either.
Anyway, basically that's another isekai, a Dead Mount Death play. You have a necromancer who transports his soul into what appears to be our world, just as somebody is being killed, and he takes over the body, but he takes the soul of the original owner of the body and puts it into a little toy shark.
Okay. And that's where Blaha came from?
I don't know. I'm probably not, but that's what's in the anime.
Well, Blaha's a toy shark with a soul. A reverse Chucky shark. Yeah, actually, though, Mage, what you were saying there is what I've long referred to as a walk-in. That it seems there were occasions that, you know, especially when somebody just kind of gave up and didn't care about life anymore, that like a new spirit could take over the body.
Well, it wasn't quite that case. In this case, the guy was assassinated, had his throat slit.
I don't want to be a plush. I want to be a Megan doll so I can do cartwheels. I guess I don't know what a Megan doll is.
Well, there he is, his little plushie.
Okay. I don't know. It kind of reminds me of the shark from Toy Story.
For some reason, he's got a screw through him too.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. You know, that plug in his chest there. What that was for?
I have no idea why he has that, but he does.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Megan's from a movie about a killer doll.
Oh, Megan? Oh, the AI doll. Yeah, that's a good movie.
Okay, yeah, just not my sort of movie. My fiance was really into horror movies, so I'd watch them with her, but not something I'm ever prone to watch on my own.
We've been getting some good horror movies this year, this year or two. Late Night with the Devil was a good one. Let's see here.
Well, I did enjoy watching the Dawn of the Dead movies with you, and again, it's not something I'm prone to watching on my own, but I wouldn't mind watching like some more of that series with you if there are other ones you think either were good or ones you think were so horrendously bad that you can laugh at them.
Let's see. The Return of the Living Dead. We saw the first one, and then there's a second one which is watchable, but it's more comedic and kind of retro. It's kind of an interesting one. The two people who became zombies from opening the canister, they're back playing different. They're playing essentially like the same characters but different in characters at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And there's even the one scene where it's kind of meta, like, hey, don't you feel like you've done this before? But then there's a third one which is, I don't know. It kind of starts losing the script on the third one, because it's more of a romance kind of thing, and they
Yeah,
changed
well,
some of the way the mechanics of the zombies work.
well, we saw the second one when they were in the mortuary.
No, we saw the first one.
Okay. And
then there's two more that were made for TV that were that's absolutely garbage. I wouldn't.
Mhm.
Then they're not even laugh at them garbage.
Yeah. There are some movies that are funny because you can tell everyone involved in making them was taking them seriously, but they still turned out horrendously bad.
Mm. I think that's probably a good description of the second one. This one that you can poke fun at.
Yeah. Yeah, those I have fun with.
Get the damn screwdriver out of my head. They cut off his corpse's head when they were grave robbing, and they had it in a satchel, and the thing came to life.
Well, that's what you get for grave robbing, huh?
So they tried to killing it by stabbing it with a screwdriver, and it didn't work.
That is kind of freaky when, I guess I can see the head talking. I sometimes there's got things like, a headless body walking around or something like that.
Mm. I was imagining that in the scene from my own zombie story. Shortly after the once one girl escapes from her captor. That kind of gets into not safe for YouTube stuff. So what was going on there? But
yeah.
Well, she's roaming around in the relatively empty streets. This headless zombie comes walking out of a house and kind of stumbles around.
Well, yeah, because they can't see where they're going.
Well, my zombies don't really rely on vision anyway. They rely on actually an electro sense and sound vibrations.
Yep. I've been trying to work with communicating music to a character that's deaf.
Feeling the vibrations would probably be a good choice.
Yeah, well, that's what I've got to this point is something like combining a color organ with with a ferrous liquid speaker. So then she could see the lights and she could see like the waveform patterns at the same time that she's feeling the beats.
Not a bad idea. That could actually work in real life, yeah.
Okay, Mage, sorry to leave you alone. I just gotta run for a moment. I'll be right back as soon as I can.
I'm gonna have to do the same thing to you in a moment.
Okay.
Oh, here's another good horror one. It's Abigail. It's a vampire flick. It's really nice how they integrated the killing with the ballet. That might be giving away some spoilers, but it's kind of in the trailer. So, let's see which one I just recently watched. Which one was it? I'd have to look it up again. But there was another one that's kind of a collage of different and short. It takes place in the 80s. He's in sort of a found film kind of thing. It wasn't that bad, but it was just recently. It was made recently. Let's see if I can find the name of it. I think it was. Let's see here. Yeah, VHS 85 is called. So that's something to check out if you haven't seen that. Or smaller.
Okay.
Well, pure capitalism is no good. I wouldn't go for pure socialism either. I think some kind of mix of the two usually works best. Anyway,
Yeah.
well, my turn to run out.
Yeah, I tend to think that any political system in a pure form is not going to work. It's got to be a hybrid system. So mostly I would support the idea of like all companies being owned by the employees, but then the companies still competing against each other in a capitalistic way. Trying to catch up on what I missed here. Yeah, Heathen Granny, I agree. It's like, for all the hate they push on trans people, they sure are, popular for escorts at whatever city they wind up having their conventions in. I don't know why it was so hard to find that word. Yeah, well, they keep saying what we're in is late stage capitalism, which, yeah, we definitely have a problem with so much of the money accumulating at the top. All hail Bigfoot. Yeah, well, and unfortunately, looks like we're ready to go from pure capitalism to fascism in a very short time. Oh, sorry, Commander. Didn't see you were waiting there.
It's all right.
Yeah, I was trying to catch up on the side chat and I didn't notice you'd come in. So, what's going on with you?
Well, things are in limbo as far as plans for the future because Commander Cheeto Puff is going to be president.
Yeah.
So, just sacking away the cash and deciding what to do. I know that I did plan to visit Midway in Oz, and I will do that. I already have the ticket.
Okay, well, yeah, it'll be nice to be able to travel outside the country.
Question is whether I come back.
Yep. Well, did you remember to pack your Velcro shoes so you don't fall off the bottom of the planet?
Australia doesn't exist, but we can't let the Slurps know that.
Yep.
Oh, shit. But Antarctica does, and it's further south. I think
Well,
they're magnetic shoes so that I don't fall off the planet.
okay, but remember when you cross the equator, you have to switch poles. You have to reverse the polarity when you're south of the equator then.
That only happens with compasses. Yes, they do make compasses for the North and the South Pole. And they mean Southern and Northern Hemisphere.
Yeah, well, I figured that for, like Australia and South America, they had to have compasses that work down there. Australia, South America, and most of Africa.
And I'm going to see the fairy penguins. I am pretty sure of it because it's like summer and I think there's an island nearby or like a tourist attraction where everyone goes and sees the fairy penguin.
Yeah, I know there is a spot down there where they come up on the beach. I didn't know if this was the time of year for it. I didn't know what months they usually show up.
Mippet had shown me pictures of sweaters she had knitted for fairy penguin.
I know that's a thing about making sweaters for the penguins. I didn't quite understand why.
Because it's cute, of course.
Yep. But that's always been one of my dream trips, is just to go to Australia to go on a photo safari, to be able to, get pictures of all these strange animals in their natural habitat.
Would have had far more money this month, but I have family who is living downstairs who I asked them to pay their own electric because I was paying their rent. So lo and behold, they send me a message back that they're tired of my family leeching off of their family, despite that I'm the one who's been paying their rent for almost a year. And then there was a big thing, and I took everyone down to Virginia. And I've been going up and down the East Coast every week until I can defuse the situation by having a legal eviction.
That sucks that you've got to go through that. Some people just, have no awareness of how finances work.
When someone pays your rent for a year and then they ask you to pay a fucking $170 in your own goddamn electricity, and then you get upset with them for saying no. There's
Mhm.
something wrong. Well, they supported Trump, so there you go.
Yeah.
They have an attitude of entitlement that is like the most queenie of all welfare queens, yet they think they be the makers and the producers. And even though, like, I've been paying all the bills, they say that my family is the leech. They've paid nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, some people just they don't get it about paying their own way. I'm sorry you have to actually go through all the legal stuff of actually getting an eviction. And then you have to hope that they actually go out and you don't have to get into more battles about having them forcibly removed.
I think they got the message. I even involved their brother who tore them a new one.
Okay, so you got some people on your
This
side at
is
least.
why I never wanted to. This is why I was hesitant about moving to New York.
Mhm.
My mom's sister got bullied into Catholicism, and that entire wing of the family is a hissing and a cursing. But one of the people who was not a hissing and a cursing offered to help me take care of mom. But she's dead. I probably shouldn't be sharing all this. Let's go back to talking about
Yep.
how shitty, well, not how shitty Trump is, how wonderful fairy penguins are, and making jokes about flat Earth.
Yeah, Orl is saying that flurfers are so silly. If Oz doesn't exist, how does everything stay balanced? It's the counterweight. Otherwise, we just flip over. You know, that's a perfectly reasonable theory.
And just like a clue for anyone who wants to go to Oz, right? If you travel to London first, then your overall trip is going to be about $1,000 less each way.
Hmm.
Rather than going from LA directly there.
Okay.
I found that out when I was in the UK visiting dog and monkey, and I was just thinking of fucking off straight to Oz, but then I was like, well, and my mom and my brother might want to come, and they need passport, so I came back to the US.
Hey, Sammy-san.
But I found out that it was cheaper that way than to go from LA.
Yeah, that's quite a difference. Enough so even to cover the cost of a hotel in London, huh?
Yeah, we're gonna be there for 2 days, hopefully. Well, Monkey says he's gonna have the time, and since it's closer than Norfolk, where I spent most of my time last time, I'll be able to say hi.
Okay. Sorry, can't help it. Now you've put the image in my head of a penguin riding a monkey through the streets of London.
That's a good thing for AI. Let me go and well, I will do that after the stream.
Yeah.
It turns out that I had my first real liquor when I was there, and I can't handle it. I become visibly drunk with 2 lemonade shanties.
Ah, so you're a real lightweight, huh?
Yep.
Well, I suppose if you've never had it before, too, you know, your body didn't know what to do with it. You've got no resistance to it. Alcohol is
But I'll
something
tell you
that
one
your body
thing,
will
it
build
helped
up the
me
resistance.
carry on a conversation.
Hmm.
It really loosens me up. So I think that I should stream with taking like basically one shanty, like basically a can of beer and a can of something else, equal volumes, and actually it's ale. But you get the idea. Just loosen me up so that I'm more talkative, but not so confused that I can't,
Yeah,
make sense.
just be careful. Alcohol, it inhibits things like the things that would normally prevent you from saying things out loud. That's the thing that, somebody who's drunk is going to be honest whether they want to or not. They're going to blurt out what they really think.
The truth serum.
Yep.
Sodium pentothol's got nothing on liquor, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Booze is more effective. I mean, don't try to interrogate someone, just party with them. That way you convince them that you're their friend, so they loosen up, and the alcohol loosens them up. So after a couple hours of that, they'll tell you anything.
Yeah, I actually had like 4 of the shanties at a place that was once Abraham Lincoln's family home, his grandfathers, I think, before they came to America when I was there. They had a picture of Abe Lincoln up on the wall. Sadly, that pub has since gone out of business, but I was lucky enough to be there. And I was there for Guy Fawkes Day, and I sold fireworks and bonfires. It was fun. If Kabbalah had won, I would have been less of a wet blanket, more of a party person.
Yeah. I still don't quite get Guy Fawkes Day. That they celebrate an attempt to basically assassinate the entire government.
Actually, Ray burned Guy Fawkes in effigy. That's what the bonfires are. It's kind of like a celebrating of a near miss where Parliament survived, and I think they're celebrating the execution of Guy Fawkes.
Yeah,
It
but
might just be an excuse to get drunk and burn stuff, which is always something that people do.
yeah, it seems to me like the equivalent of us celebrating the January 6th riot.
Yeah, no one should celebrate that. Those motherfuckers should remain in prison. I mean, my
Yeah.
God, if I was like in Washington and there was like an angry mob storming in the Capitol and I decided to go in the Capitol, I would know damn well I'm not supposed to be with an angry mob shitting all over the place and stealing senators and congressmen's laptops. I mean,
Yeah.
how little sense do you have to think, well, I'm just a victim. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to be where people were laying deuces on the floor in the Capitol.
Well, when they were putting up those gallows, they were being very peaceful about it.
Yeah. But I mean, they couldn't have known that they weren't supposed to be there when there were security guards trying to keep them out of the building.
Well,
Well.
I know that I'm going to be in Australia Trump will be president while I'm in Australia. And if the shit show gets, well, the plan, we know it's going to be a shit show. I'm going to have to try to ask for asylum. That mean I'll get it. So I gotta try.
Going to be. It's already a
Yeah.
shit show, and he isn't even in office yet.
Yeah, well, I had joked around about going to Canada, but unfortunately, I don't even think they'll take me for asylum. Because I mean, what country wants to take somebody who's retired and disabled?
True.
If I don't have a viable
Holy
means
shit.
of supporting myself.
Yeah, they're gonna be hesitant about that.
Yeah.
Luckily, at least for me, I can show that I'm capable of making a fat ton of money and working horrendous hours. Just to
Mhm.
give me an idea, I got a little letter from Social Security, right? They said that if I went out on disability, my monthly check would be $2,300. That's how much money I have made. And I wound up spending a great deal of it on ungrateful people living downstairs that need to be forcibly removed. Damn cunt.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm, without getting the Section 8 rent subsidy, I wouldn't even be able to make it month to month. So I
got
had
a
to,
damn slumlord that I will be out. So glad to be out for a month. I'm sorry for running over you. There was a delay.
no, that's fine. I just had to borrow some money from my brother because this month I had several things all hitting at once. That in the first week of December, I've got to get new tabs for the van, and the insurance is due. And for my backup phone is on a yearly plan, but turns out, that's all happening in the same week. So it's a chunk of money that I'll never have all at one time. I have to spread that out over a few months at least.
They'll penalize you for having a chunk of change.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
I
if you have
think
over $1,000 in
is
the
like-
bank, yeah.
$1,000 today
2,000.
is fucking nothing. Look, 2,000, that's still fucking nothing. That goes with one giant emergency. That goes with a transmission on a car.
Yep.
That goes with a visit to the emergency room, even with insurance.
Yeah, or even if something goes wrong with your check one month, that's not enough to get through the month on.
Yeah, if I have 2,000 or more in my account, I don't get the checks or have to pay back whatever check they send me.
Yep.
And if I earn more than 2,000 in a year, I get cut off completely.
Yep. Oh, hey, Maya, didn't see you come in.
So I'm basically stuck where I cannot actually save any money legally.
Yeah, and that's the problem with the system, that the people who are at this level aren't allowed to save money, so there's no way that they can ever climb up a level. There's no way that
I
you
wonder
can,
if you could
you know-
keep it cash.
Technically, you could pull out of the bank and say you spent it.
yeah, well,
I mean,
you could keep it cash at home, but technically, even just having the money, you're still violating it if you don't report that you have that money.
Yeah. Because of the way the system is, a lot of people tend to not report some money.
Yeah. But the system's gotten better to at tracking that money. like how much you have in the bank by your Social Security.
Yeah.
Because if you're getting paid any interest at all on it, then the Social Security has a record of what you've got in the bank. Or at least, they can look at the interest you earned and work backwards to figure out how much you have.
Yeah.
But I mean, it really sucks that the system is designed to keep people poor. It doesn't give them any way to, try to get themselves up to a higher level. Because the bottom's cut out immediately if you're showing you have any means.
Well, this might have been different, but like when I entered the workforce, because of a program called Ticket to Work. I had various problems where I needed medication in order to be able to function. But if I went and I got a job, then the medical would go away and I wouldn't have the meds I need to function, and then I wouldn't have a job. So
Yeah.
if I were to go straight to minimum wage to a job that did not have medical benefits when I was in my late teens, early 20s, actually starting working with 40 hours minimum wage would have been a negative, I think I figured out $1,400 a month in terms of overall value, simply because the Medicaid was basically giving me the meds so that I could actually function. So they had what was a program called a Ticket to Work. They paid for the trade school. And then I was able to get a job that offered health care. And that's the reason why I entered the workforce.
Yeah, they have something like that with being on Social Security, and where you can try and work for something like 3 months while still getting the checks coming in to see if you can, like a trial thing.
Social Security has
Actually,
that.
it's 8 months now.
Oh, it's 8 months
It's 8
now.
months where you can do it, and the check still comes in addition to whatever you make. And I mean, it doesn't matter what you make. It still comes in, and then you can basically quit 8 months in, no questions asked, and the check comes back.
Well, 8 months is
But
better
then
than
you're
3 months.
subject
Yeah.
to review later on.
Okay, I don't know if they
Well,
changed it, but it used to be that it was 3 months, and of those 3 months, that like the first $300 you make, nothing changed. But like after $300, then they were taking like $2 out of the Social Security for every $3 you made.
what might have been different for me, because I had been working a fuck ton, and then when the COVID hit, I actually had the diagnosis, and I had been on disability, I think like 7 years previous to that. So basically they just like started my checkup, almost no questions asked.
Yeah.
And I used that during the COVID to stay alive. And then I got off my ass after the COVID. And it was like 7 months, 8 months. They just like sent check with the,
But
I think
it
they
sounds like
changed.
they have actually improved the program on that.
Yeah.
But I'm in the same position that you were saying, Commander, about that, if I started working and I lost the Medicaid, that, then I'd wind up with a couple $100 a month, in doctors and prescriptions. I don't even know what my prescriptions would cost if they weren't getting covered under that.
Ridiculous amount, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, it happened once with my late fiance that there was something that the insurance bounced back her insulin for her diabetes. And that came back at the pharmacy that it would have cost us $600 a month.
Oh yeah, it's gotten up since then too, quite
Yeah.
a bit.
Well, yeah, because that was like 8 years ago now.
Who needs to live?
Well, no, more than 10
Jeez.
years. Yeah, but yeah.
You know that idea, who needs to live? It has crossed my mind that, like, as long as my mom is alive, it's not going to happen. Going to Ukraine at some point and helping. I mean, I've got a connection where they wouldn't say no to me entering.
Yeah.
I'm still on good terms with the dude.
Yeah, I tried exiting when I was much younger, and at this point, it's like, fuck you. I fought over 50 years to get to where I am, and it's not much, but no, I'm not going back. I'm not letting anybody take away what little I've managed to get.
You weren't saying fuck you to me, you were saying fuck you to the world, right? I didn't
Yeah.
quite
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah, to anyone who thinks that they're going to get me to give up or get me to give up anything that I've managed to collect at this point. Of course, at this point, I might have to go back to revising my plans for, mounting a gun turret on top of my van. I had worked one out for my Chevy Suburban many years ago, so I just have to adapt that to fit onto the van I have now. Put a set of pom-pom guns up there, so if I have problems.
We're not that far from Mad Max, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Oh, I've got Molly here sleeping next to me.
Yep. Sammy finally decided to get comfortable and lay down on my leg here. I got Sammy's son here. I give him a little scratch behind the ears, and I get a little purring.
Cats make the best lap warmers.
Yep.
I wouldn't have given up Corky for the world. I mean, we kept him. He was probably around 8. We got him in 92, and he lasted, I think, I might not remember when we got him. I might be confusing him with Sammy, because cocktails last 35, 40 years. But Porky lasted, I think, 2017, 2018.
That's a really good run.
So I know we got him in the 90s. I can't remember what year we got him. But he had to have been close to 20 years, not over 20 years. And he was the sweetest little black cat you ever did meet. And he was so sweet, so trusting. He'd actually roll over and beg you to rub his belly. Cats usually don't like that.
Yeah. Well, I've had Sammy-san for 8 years now, and the shelter told me that he was 6 years old when I got him, so that makes him 14 now.
Well, giving cats belly rubs is something of Russian roulette there.
Yep.
Porky loved his belly rub.
Well, I've got, Sammy's-son's got the tuxedo coat, which he claims he got because his daddy's a penguin guarding the ice wall.
I will set the record and see if any of the troops has ever dated a cat, and then I'll get back to you.
Yep. Well, that's what he's told me. So, yeah, as far as belly rubs to a cat, I got a good share of that last night playing with Petunia. It's my own fault because I was playing carpet spider with her, which is just when I put my hand on the floor and walk it around like a spider for her to attack. And basically, if I can tap a paw, I get 1 point. If I can get a little belly rub, I get 3 points. If I can boop her nose, I get 10 points. On the other hand, my hand winds up coming away bleeding almost every time I play that. But, it's just...
Porky actually didn't scratch that much.
Yeah. Well, she has no front claws. It's mostly the teeth. But she is good about that, too.
Oh, my
that,
goodness.
If I say ow,
Mommy's
ow, she
mom
knows
is
to
in
let
the
go.
hospital.
Oh,
I'm sorry to run over you. I just
Yeah.
had to mention that.
food poisoning. How'd that happen?
Ooh. Yeah, food poisoning can be nasty.
Yeah.
My mom warned me about food poisoning. She did something rather odd. Like when we were younger, she took us to this restaurant that she almost died from the food poisoning. And then she said, "This is what a shithole looks like. Never eat here." And then she walked us out. And it really was a horrendous diet. And by the time they cured her of the food poisoning, they had to replace her gut biome. And for some strange reason, the place that almost killed her in the late 70s was still around in the 1990s. And it was a dive.
That kind of situation makes me wonder if it wasn't a front for something else. But I seem to have a very resilient system that there's been a number of times that people who had eaten with me, got some pretty serious food poisoning, and either it didn't affect me at all, or at most I threw up a bit and then I was fine. Jenny's
It
back.
took hardcore sulfate drugs for my mom not to die.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi, Jenny.
Oh, what did I do?
Nothing. I said hi.
Oh, okay. Hi.
Well,
That's just my guilty nature.
yeah, it's a good thing my system was so resilient because, that's times when I was homeless, I had occasions that, I was literally pulling stuff out of the dumpsters behind the grocery store.
Well, better question is, what didn't you do?
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Just, I could eat anything and either my system would keep it down or my system would just throw it up and, then I'd be fine an hour later.
Well, we're talking about lovely stuff then, huh?
Yes.
Talking about food poisoning, Tsunami said that her mom's in the hospital with food poisoning, so that's how we got on that topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope she's going to be okay, Tsunami.
Yeah, I had food poisoning once when I was in my teens. Fortunately, it wasn't that bad. It only lasted about a week. So, boy, was that bad. It's just throwing up.
She says one of my cousins was freegan for a while. I'm not sure what freegan is.
Friggin' is when you go into a dumpster and you eat out of it, or you go in a trash can and you eat out of it. Just anything that's free.
Oh,
Doesn't
okay.
have to be from the dumpsters, but it has to be free.
Yeah. Well,
I
for
like
a
the old
while,
days when people didn't lock their dumpsters and have them behind fences and all this shit. You can go to some decent restaurants and get some pretty damn good food for free.
yeah.
Now they're all
Well,
worried
for a,
about liability. Thank you,
I
lawyer.
might be back and I'm getting a phone call.
yeah, back in the late 80s, that yeah, we were just so poor we couldn't manage anything. But the co-op, you know, that the stuff that was bruised or too old for them to sell, you know, that I would go and pull some of the produce that they had dropped in at the end of the day, and you know, just try to cut the bad parts out and try to get something edible out of it. Oh, hi, Molly. There's my friend Molly's back.
Hi, Mal.
Hello.
I'm down to my last $20.
Oh,
So any of you out there want to send me a winning lotto ticket, I would happily accept, and I'll split it with you. I'm so nice.
well, the closest I got to winning a lotto ticket was winning that free turkey.
I got a 2025 calendar. Not like after the 20th that anything matters anymore, but
Yeah.
oh, 20th is a Monday. Boy, what a way to ruin a week.
Yes, and Mommy, I tend to cut the moldy pieces off and eat them, but Forrest Velkai did a rant on that, kind of exploded, saying that doesn't really work. I can't remember the terms he used, but saying that, you know, if you can see visible mold, that's actually the mold blooming and releasing spores.
Yeah.
So by the time it gets to that point, it's already, you know, like run tiny tendrils all the way through the food that you can't see.
Well, especially in
that's-
cheese, people think you can just cut that off and, well, okay, you can, but you know what's going to happen.
I'd been doing it for decades, and I, you know, thought it was okay, but yeah,
Well,
apparently
there's a certain amount of luck to it, I guess.
Yeah. Well, like I was saying, my system seemed quite resilient. That's all.
And we stopped at the convenience store, so I got some more packets of mayo.
Yeah. So, Mommy, I'm still eating the cheese too. I actually just had that last week, that I had some cheese that I was just cutting the nasty edges off, and I still put it on my sandwich. Sorry, Jenny, so you were saying, what'd you get?
What?
You were saying you got some good stuff there?
No, not really. Just, you know, I said I'm down my last $20.
Okay, so you know, if anybody has a bit extra they can spare, Jenny's Ko-fi link is in the description.
No, I don't need anything. I'll be fine. I'm going nowhere tomorrow. I'll just sleep. I'll sleep the next few days, and come
Okay.
next week, Wednesday, when I get paid, everything will be just ducky cool.
Yep.
I went to the food pantry. I have plenty to eat.
Yeah.
None of it very good, but you know, it's free.
Yeah. A pasta babe Linda James said that she's going to be, you know, streaming on Thanksgiving Day, just for, you know, anyone who's looking for a place to go, looking to just have people to talk to. So I figure I'll hang out over there for a few hours.
I'm sorry, I missed that. Who's hanging?
A pasta babe Linda James.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's an ex-JW, so she never got to celebrate holidays growing up.
Another sex bot trying to DM me on Twitter. Let's see.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll die in 2025, but there's a good chance that I will wind up either homeless or wind up in a in one of their concentration camps.
And of course, the first 5 posts is the MAGA toddler Elon.
Yeah, Molly, I know you invited me over there, but I've got stuff to cook here, and just gonna hang out with some people online. Yeah, Molly, you just came in, so maybe you didn't hear that I accidentally got a turkey I have to cook. Which actually was a really good deal for me, because it's like, I only made a $5 donation to the charity for the raffle tickets, and got a 12-pound turkey, and currently that's even the cheapest ones are going for like $1.29 a pound. So I got at least 15 pounds worth of meat for my $5 gamble there. Or $15 worth of meat for a 12-pound bird. Yes, Trump has talked about rounding people up in the concentration camps. And the state of Texas has given him like 50 acres to build his concentration camps on.
1,400 acres.
1,400? Oh, God.
Yep.
I didn't realize it's that big. That's what I've been wondering about, but, Trump's also talking about, bringing the military in to enforce these things.
I heard the guy who's going to be the Homeland Security Nazi saying that if people interfere with them in the mass collection, they will also be arrested and put in the camps.
Yep.
It just shocked the fuck out of me that they're actually talking out loud about camps.
Yep.
You make us figure out what you voted for yet?
Well, those are just the immigrants who came here illegally. They don't deserve to be here, and then we have to toss out. It's just bullshit. Ugh, I can't even keep up the act.
Well, and those lefties, who cares about the lefties?
Okay, so Mom is saying, be careful who you buy your turkey from. Why, has there been an outbreak of something that we need to know about? And to be on, I know there are some people in the police and military who won't go along with Trump, but this is also why Trump has ordered a review of all the military generals, so that he can weed out the ones who might not follow his orders and replace them with his loyalists.
I was watching this thing on, I think it was a damage report. I think not usually something I generally watch, but they're covering another person who died because they couldn't get an abortion. It was the doctors are worried that if they do anything, they're going to lose their license and all that. One idea came to mind with that whole thing. All right, lose your license. Do it en masse. Do what you know is right to do. Lose your license. Then they're going to be left without doctors.
Well, that's
then
already happened
from there.
That's already happened from the abortion issue, that the qualified doctors have moved out of a lot of states, leaving them
21% of remaining Texas OBGYNs are planning to move out of state. 21% on top of those who already have.
Okay. And Sumami is saying the butterball turkeys have been sexually assaulted. That sounds disturbing in multiple ways.
It's not a big deal. They'll sterilize during the roasting if you do it correctly, I guess.
Well, all that does get gutted. I mean, they are pretty empty when you get them.
Yeah, she said they're under investigation for allegations of sexual assault on the fucking turkeys.
And besides, there's no way that JD Vance will get around to all of them.
That's just not a Thanksgiving headline I expected to see. Yeah. Well, the one I got's just a local brand, basically the closest thing to a generic turkey that at least store here has.
There's this guy here. He's gone from chickens to turkeys.
Oh yes.
Tsunami, I believe you.
Yeah.
A friend in New York said that there was particular gangs who, as part of their initiation, made you fuck a chicken.
Yeah, unfortunately I can believe it would happen. It's just not something I would have thought about.
Well, like I've mentioned before, a few years back, the state of Wisconsin had increased the penalties for its no having sex with animals law.
Yeah.
And so that just made me think, you had to increase it?
Right, well, I'll be right back. I gotta walk Molly and then
Okay.
one thing.
Minnesota does have a law specifically saying you cannot have sex with a rooster. Not just animals in general, it specifies a rooster. So, again, these laws wouldn't be made if they hand caught somebody doing it at some point.
Yeah, it's incredible, Al, isn't it? How just these babies, oh, we fucked the libs this time. Yeah. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, fuck us good.
Yeah. And unfortunately that's what the MAGA people have been doing for years, is they don't care about shooting themselves in the foot if it helps them own the libs.
Yep.
Yes, Hispanic culture does come from Spain and Europe, but the people just, their skin got too dark, so they don't want them around here. Like I say, Molly, I'm sure it would not have been passed if they hadn't caught somebody doing it at some point. And it's there. Minnesota still has a lot of farms. It had a lot more 50 years ago.
Trump hates everybody.
Yeah, Hispanic culture is actually a blend of the European colonialist and the indigenous cultures together.
Trump hates all POC.
Yeah.
And He hates all the white people if they don't pledge loyalty to him.
Trump pretty much hates anyone who's not giving him money. And he's even hated on people who have given him money. After collecting, like $500 million in campaign contributions, he went and shit on the millionaires and blamed them for a bunch of stuff.
Did you see Rudy Giuliani in the last day or so?
I stopped following him. He just didn't seem relevant anymore.
He's out there begging for people to give him donations. He doesn't have a credit card, doesn't have a bank account, doesn't have any cash, doesn't have a car, doesn't have an apartment.
I knew that he was bankrupt, and they said that he could become homeless.
You'd think his number one client would have helped him.
Yeah, and
by like paying his bill.
I mean, Giuliani should be a prime example of why people shouldn't hitch their wagon to Trump. If Giuliani hadn't gotten involved with Trump, he could have retired and he could have gone out as being America's mayor for, being something of a hero from 9/11. That could have been his legacy. Now, instead, his legacy is going to be being disbarred for trying to protect a felon. Even Granny says, all I gotta do is dye my hair brown and I'll experience white privilege, no problem. Yeah, unfortunately, okay, I know undoubtedly I have a degree of white privilege and I've played up on that at times. Unfortunately, it also sucks to be, white and broke all the time because people just assume that you're, in a better economic state than I've ever been. Going to jail because you've taken a couple of Jewish dicks? I've been careless. I've been with some guys that I didn't ask about their religion.
Mark says, what color was your hair before you dyed it brown?
I think she was saying that it was white hair before. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, well, I'm aware of, some degree of white privilege just because I was engaged to a black woman and I saw firsthand that if a cop pulled us over, it was handled very differently whether she was driving or I was driving. Spain wanted to whiten the population of America. Well, see, they should have taken the approach that the British and the French took and just, wipe out the native people so they could just replace them all with Europeans.
Oh.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, Tsunami. But for 5 years, I was living in her world. We were definitely in a very low income neighborhood, and hanging out with her friends, I'd be the only white person there.
I'm the only white person in my apartment.
Yeah, my building's got a pretty good mix, although I think it's still majority white. But there's 90 units here, so I certainly don't know everyone in the building.
It is very weird living where I am right now, this small town in rural Minnesota. I believe there's at least one family, but there may be a chance that there are no black people in this town at all. And I've only seen a couple Latino. I've seen a number of Hmong people. This is a popular area for them to move when they all came over en masse. But that's it. And it's just weird. I mean, I lived in a mixed neighborhood in Milwaukee for goddamn fucking 30 some years. And I get here and it's like, well, where's the music at night? Just all these things that you got used to in your particular neighborhood, and none of it is here. And it's just kind of, I miss it. I don't miss the gunshots and things like that. Well, of course we have that this time of year with deer hunting.
Well, while I was living with my fiance, we did have the house at the opposite end of the block blow up because it turned out to be a meth lab.
Oh, well, that's lovely.
And generally the response of the neighbors was, you didn't know it was a meth lab? So apparently it was common knowledge, and I was the only one who hadn't picked up on that. Okay, so mommy's stoned and has the munchies, and that's why everything's coming out about food.
Marxist, there's people who say that dear Mr. Trump is hooked on Adderall.
Yeah, while Trump may get away with having, all of his charges dismissed, the one thing he can't get away with is how much money he still has to pay on civil suits. And he's got some big bills coming up as well. That he owns Trump Tower in New York, but he does not own the land it is sitting on. He's leasing the land. So at this point, if you calculate in how much he owes for the lease, Trump Tower is actually underwater. He's going to wind up owing more money than the building is worth.
The Russians will cover him.
Yeah.
Trump Tower has been long known as a building that is there to launder money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There are so many floors that have been sold off to major money people with criminal backgrounds. That's how they launder the money. That one guy buys it for cash, and after a time sells it. Now he's got clean money.
Yeah, well, and like the Saudis are leasing like 3 floors, the Saudi royal family.
Mm-hmm. And so is Putin.
Yep.
Yeah, he's just a flat out criminal. That's all he is.
Yep. And I don't know why they didn't push through the classified documents the classified documents case a lot earlier and get that finished. But now it's meaningless. And I mean, that is literally an act of treason against the United States.
Yeah, but everybody in justice knew that there was no way it was going to get settled before Trump takes office. So by withdrawing it without prejudice, it can be tried later.
Oh, damn it. Okay,
Yes.
I wasn't aware that they could retry it later.
No, it's not retry, it's try. It's the first
Yeah,
time.
okay. I wasn't aware that was an option, but yeah, I was just wondering, why they didn't push it a year ago even to get it resolved before the election.
Well, that is true. They did fuck off with how soon they got to it and how much dicking around they did with that. Of course, Trump that's Trump's strategy that is effective and to delay everything as much as you can.
Yeah, he
make
keeps
everything go away.
getting his lawyers to come up with any excuse to delay the proceedings.
Yeah, I mean they make shit up. Because Donnie's a dick.
But yeah, I mean, it really ruins the whole idea of that nobody is above the law. Although on the bright side, that's one of the things that Biden has been doing since the election, is Biden has managed to push through the appointment of like an additional 100 or so federal judges.
Which means nothing under a dictatorship, because the guy in charge can just say, "Well, you're all gone. I'm going to put in some new people."
Yeah,
which is what he's doing.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. Is I don't really see anything that'll stop him short of a military coup, and if he manages to replace half of the generals, that's not going to happen either. Because there's a lot of people in the military who will stand up and, take seriously the oath to protect the country against all threats, foreign and domestic. But there's also a good share of them that, won't have any problems with just following Trump's orders, no matter how mad he seems. So, that actually could get interesting at some point if he starts bringing the military into it. And, is it going to be the whole military, or will we have the commanders at some bases saying they're not going to do it? And then it basically comes to a question of, who's going to control the supply lines for the military? Who's going to decide which bases get resupplied? Yep. Yeah, he tried a coup. He tried to overthrow the whole government with the January 6th thing.
Well, they are going to play hardball with any Democrat-run state or city. They're going to try to find what laws that they can or charge them with and put them in prison. They want to put Nancy Pelosi in prison.
Yep.
There's no sense to it, but they want to do it.
Yeah, they can't find any criminal activity she's committed, but yes, they are dead set on finding a way to put her in prison.
Yep. And Hillary's going to go down.
Yeah. Which I'm sure, Tim Walz will wind up on their list. So I don't know if there's really any way politically or legally that anybody's going to be able to put up an effective fight.
Well, I would like to see him pardon Hunter.
Why would that make a difference?
Just as a fuck you to the Republicans.
Hmm.
They pushed so hard for him to get, the thing that he got convicted for so far with this gun charge, nobody gets convicted on that.
Yeah.
He's like one of the first on the planet who's been convicted of that, because that's what the Republicans wanted.
Well, and he was convicted of that, but at the same time, Trump, after being convicted of 34 felonies, was known to have a gun at Mar-a-Lago at his residence that he never turned over. Anyone else convicted of a felony, if it was known they had a gun that they didn't turn over, the cops would have gone to their house and they would have been in jail, like within 24 hours.
Somebody got a secret film of Trump and this new woman, Pat Bondi, for Attorney General. And here they are sitting alone at a table, and they're talking about gun control and how we have to make this law and that law so that we can get the guns away from people.
Yep.
Because they know what danger they're in with if the citizenry is armed.
Yep. Yeah, that's inevitable, especially if Trump thinks he's going to use the military to enforce things. Then he's got to make sure that the people that they're trying to collect can't have guns. And that's probably the only thing that's going to, make all the MAGA fans crack if he starts coming after their guns.
Well, they were specifically talking about wanting to put in red flag laws as a way to start. Because it's hard,
something
it's
they
hard to
fought
argue.
against the Democrats doing for decades.
It's hard to argue against somebody who's getting their gun taken away because they're dangerous to everybody around them. That's easy to not support as a gun freak. But if you then expand that,
yep,
to say somebody who gets a parking ticket.
Are we talking about the Republicans taking people's guns away?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what him and his new attorney general were talking about at a table. Somebody got a covert film.
Yeah, I saw that clip.
I haven't seen the clip, but yeah, I knew it was something that they'd have to be doing at some point.
Well, it's gonna be fun to watch this hit the fan.
Let's see.
This is what you guys wanted. This is who you voted for. You wanted it this way. Just keep telling them that you wanted it this way.
Yeah, it would be interesting if it winds up being all the MAGA people that wind up revolting.
Okay.
Within 24 hours, the majority of them. So what we want to do is let law enforcement come in and take the guns.
Good.
They're a danger to themselves.
Which you can't
or
do right
others.
now.
Well, because without being adjudicated. So because they're a danger to themselves.
You want them to take the guns and
when they are
not
committed.
go through 6 months of legal trials and everything else.
Exactly.
In the possession
Or
of that
might
individual.
take the firearms first and then go to court, because that's another system. Because a lot of times, by the time you go to court, it takes so long to go to court to get the due process procedures. I like taking the guns early, like in this crazy man's case that just took place in Florida. He had a lot of firearms. They saw everything. To go to court would have taken a long time. So you could do exactly what you're saying, but take the guns first, go through due process second.
Busted.
And now let's
Yeah.
see the excuse making and the jumping through hoops and he didn't mean what he said. And
Well, I'm sure that most of the MAGA crowd will just claim that was AI, it was faked, it's a propaganda thing.
it was out of context.
Yep.
Well, excuse. Well, they'll agree with it and have a double standard. That's another thing he'll do.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's one thing I've been doing. I've been sending videos to myself I find on Twitter and Blue Sky.
Yeah.
They're just a waste a space on Twitter. But it's turning out to be useful to pull up a video fast like that.
Yeah, well, Blue Sky's nice, although I can easily see Blue Sky becoming a left-wing echo chamber.
Yeah, it's quickly becoming that as it is. I'm a little bit worried about the whole you're either 100% with us or you're 100% against us kind of mentality.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm concerned with, that, you don't hear anybody stating an alternate view of anything there.
Yeah, we sure wouldn't want the left wing to have a place where they can just say whatever they want and know that it's their place, and not to get hassled from but a bunch of goddamn freaks from the other side. No, we wouldn't want that to happen.
No, we might end up living it where people are getting hassled by their own side.
Well, I'm just, we're going to wind up with separate platforms, ones that are all left-wing echo chamber, ones that are all right-wing echo chamber, and nothing in the middle.
That's not good.
Oh, you mean like actual society?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that, are we going to make any progress to get this country back on track if we don't, start healing that deep divide?
All we can hope for right now is that as the Orange boys get more and more draconian in their method of running things, that the megas come to their senses and realize that this is not the America we wanted. This is not the America we thought we were getting. And they'll have to also realize that it's because they're stupid. But
well, they'll never concede that part.
Might be best to leave that part out, but
yeah,
just to get them to acknowledge the mistake.
Yeah. Well, I'm enjoying every time I hear a maggot whine about the things that he's mumbling about now. I just love to say, this is what you voted for. This is what you want. Yeah. This is your fault. You wanted this.
I actually ran one in today or yesterday. Actually, he's saying, "Oh, I wanted higher prices at the grocery store because it avoided World War III."
Yeah, I think that's the main thing that's going to hit them, is that when they have to consistently, week after week, having to pay more for their food.
So they're already moving the goalpost.
Yeah, well, and of course, they're going to blame it on Biden for at least a year.
Another thing I see people doing is putting out these little data sheets, usually in just a tweet, very informal. Today is such and such, 27th of 24, and the price of gas is, and the price of milk is, and the price of eggs are, and just going down this list and making setting these prices where everything is today.
Yeah.
For when Trump comes by and says he made all this happen instead of Biden, because people will forget like they always do.
Yeah.
That's actually something I wanted to do when I was at the grocery store, is to take photos of the various prices of stuff.
Yeah, well, that's, people definitely forgot that, that things have improved under Biden.
Well, just make sure your exif data is turned on, and so the camera can record all the date and time and place and everything. Oh, God.
Yeah. Oh, well, we've been going close to 3 hours here. Let's just fill in another
6 minutes and 2 seconds.
And wrap it up. Yeah, let's just fill in this last 7 minutes and wrap it up.
No, 6 minutes, 5 minutes and 50 seconds.
Okay, so we'll fill in the time with Jenny just doing a countdown.
17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9.
So we're kind of getting down to the end wrap up.
Well, we have the last 3 episodes of Keep Your Hands Off of Vizokin in tomorrow for the midnight showing. If anybody's awake for it, that is, not in some turkey coma.
Oh yeah. No, I should be. I should be at port tomorrow night.
Then you can
We
get
of
into
course want to thank all of our supporters: Kitty the Atheist, Robert X, Great Hartwick, Southern Sail, Skitzcrasher. Shoot.
still didn't update, huh?
Yeah, still didn't update. We're still missing a few people, and
Send me the names. I'll try and update this thing.
yeah. No, I should have updated it myself. That just completely slipped my mind this week. That was something I needed to do.
That's fine. If it's not done by next week, I'll just cancel my my support. You
Yep.
know, don't worry. Whatever you want. That's,
Yeah, well,
Jenny, change this to supporter now too.
yep.
Actually, I would prefer if you didn't put me up on as a supporter.
Oh, okay.
I don't want people to know that I support you. No, I mean
I can understand that. I've had a lot of people who, said that I can be your friend as long as we're not seen in public together. Why does it just? Yeah.
I was thinking about my escape to Canada, and I can't figure out how I can get me there and across, and all my clothes and things that I need. Like my cameras, and my broken computer, so maybe I can fix them up there.
Yeah, that's part of my problem. I would need a U-Haul to get all my stuff across. And still wondering what would really be easier. I think if I tried to cross at the border, I'd probably be turned back at the patrol station. But yeah, in Minnesota, there's a lot of places you can go through where there isn't necessarily a border guard. So would it be better to get in that way and then just beg for sanctuary after I'm already on Canadian soil?
That's what I'm planning on doing. But you have a passport, don't you?
Nope, I've never had a passport in my life.
Okay.
All I've got is the driver's license, and I don't even have the the extended driver's license that would let me travel to Canada.
Oh, when you're out there on the web, try to find a copy of the letter that was just written by the new president of Mexico to Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah.
Where he talks about his favorite topics of tariffs and so-called illegal aliens, which she demonstrates by the numbers that they're not.
Yep. Well, I have been following, some of the Canadian news through the CBC. And one of the things that they were saying is that with a 25% tariff, it won't be worthwhile to keep open the plants that make the parts for our cars. So it will become hard to get replacement parts for newer cars.
Hey, they'll take care of those illegal drugs coming in, though, right? From fentanyl, It's mostly Americans.
Yep.
What's actually coming over the border are the chemicals to make fentanyl, and it's getting made here.
Yeah, but the point with the car parts being that, of course, if you eliminate one of the major suppliers, that's obviously going to drive the cost up. So either you won't be able to find the parts needed at all, or you'll wind up paying twice what you did last year for them.
By the way, did y'all know that Ford has been in Mexico for 80 years?
80 years.
Uh-huh.
Well,
that's a bit longer than I realized.
Well, let's look at this from the Republican and voter standpoint, and it'll just cause all the companies to come back to America and do their stuff here.
Yeah, right. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
that's what tariffs were supposed to accomplish originally, but yeah, don't see that happening.
Everything will be made in America then, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
That's how the world works, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would only work if American corporations were willing to invest the money into building the factories to make the stuff. But they've got no interest in making that sort of capital investment.
And because we have the time to do that too.
I think it's a riot that Mexico, the country that everybody in this country likes to think is this backwoods, no civilization place, when it actually is extremely civilized in its major cities. That they elect a woman as president.
Yep.
And put in gay marriage and trans recognition at the time when we're going to try to shut all that down. And I just think it's lovely how progressive they are and how regressive we've become.
Yeah, I think that is, one of several factors. I'm not saying it's the reason Harris lost, but it was a contributing factor that there were too many people who still had the idea that a woman can't handle the job.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And the reality is that, women are so emotional. Yeah, okay, women cry once in a while. But men cannot deal with their own anger. Yep. And they get violent and they get dangerous and they do stupid things with it. And that's a lot more concerning to me emotionally than someone who might get tense and cry.
Yeah, I would rather have somebody crying in the Oval Office than somebody launching an unnecessary war on false pretenses.
I don't give a fuck what you have in your pants as long as you can do the job and you have good policies.
Oh, well, then vote for me.
Well, yeah, then Trump is completely out of it on that criteria.
Yeah, I heard about that. Reparations to white people. For what? What a great oppression did white people go through? Jesus Christ.
I guess that's, saying that because of DEI, like minorities have taken white people's jobs, so now they're owed money for it. That would be my guess. Okay, well, we're past the 3-hour mark.
Oh.
Jenny, do you have any final words for today?
Yeah, we have to go another hour that we've missed the mark. No, I have nothing to say.
I will leave you and Mage, if he wants to finish up the next hour. Or if Mage isn't up to it, you can stay here and monologue.
No, I don't have enough to say do that. I can't. I'd be checking and.
Okay, so Mage.
You guys.
Yeah, Mage. So tomorrow night we're going to be doing the watching anime.
Yep.
So if anybody else wants to join us for that, just DM Mage for the link.
We'll be finishing up the series, and then next week we can get into the new series, School Live.
Yeah, you said that we might need some handkerchiefs to get through the last episode of this.
Yeah.
That's a bit foreboding, but I just got bounced out.
Oh, okay. Jenny's back in stereo again. You were still here.
Oh yeah, there I am.
See, yeah, we got two of you now.
I'm sorry, I'm just really beside myself today.
Okay, so now if Mage and I leave, you don't have to monologue.
You stereo log.
Sit here. Yeah, you can sit here and talk to yourself.
Oh no, I got nothing to say. Yeah. No. Talk to me? Are you kidding?
Okay, and yep, I have to start rounding people up to take slots for the Christmas marathon.
Well, I can take a couple slots.
Well, it so happens that Christmas Day is going to be on a Wednesday, so our regular show here is going to be right in the middle of it.
Yeah, may have to cancel that the 28th midnight showing since we have the whole Christmas thing going, but
Yeah.
rest of the week should be good though.
And remember, tomorrow evening, the Packers are going to kick somebody's ass. I don't know who, but
Okay. You've got to hit Godless Granny and make sure she orders pizza then. Because the Packers only win if they get the blessing of the pizza god.
actually, it's the bratwurst queen that really matters.
No, Godless Granny explained that in one of her videos that, anytime they ordered pizza, the Packers won. If they didn't order pizza, the Packers lost.
Well, it used to be that I had a friend with season tickets, and every time he would invite me to come along, the Packers won. And the time that he didn't invite me, they lost. And this went on for almost 3 years.
Does the type of
Okay,
topping matter?
Pardon?
Apparently that started a fight between two different pizza gods about whether or not pineapple could be on the pizza.
No, pineapple
No,
cannot be on the pizza.
Pineapple on
No,
pizza
no.
is banned in the state of Wisconsin.
Okay, Jenny, I was just wondering, what did they season the tickets with?
Smelt.
Okay. So, thank everybody for coming and hanging out with us. Excuse me. So with that, we will bid you all a good day, and we will see you next week.
Love you guys
Bye-bye.
in the chat. You're why we do this. Be gay, do crime, don't get